Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, tonight I'm going to bring you a report from the most recent battle in the battlefield of ideas and the furthering of our Second Amendment rights, because you know, as well as I do, on this channel and in this nation, we are going to pass the blessing of the Second Amendment along to that next generation. Now, the way that we're going to do that is through the new battlefield. We're talking about a battlefield of ideas and rights and concepts. You've got social, you've got written word, you've got TV, you've got all of these different things that are competing for the rights and the ideas and the concepts and really the understanding of what fundamental rights are, and it's going in our direction. And we are going to prevail. It's just going to take time and it's going to take heart, and I know you guys have it. If you do, leave me some love in the comments field below, and if you agree. But let's look at this article. It's linked in the description box below. The AG of New York is getting sued. Now, this is really important because Leticia James, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, Leticia James is the same person who has been suing the NRA and is trying to break them apart as an entity. That's why they're moving to Texas. That's one of the key reasons, but she is a key player. Well, she's getting sued now by gun companies that have done nothing wrong, but she's made them a target. Well, this is what happens when your leftist policies get in the way of what your job is. Like I said, the article is linked in the description box below. I want to hear from you guys on this one because this is a fight that the gun companies are taking to them. By the way, if you're a lawyer in the gun company world, you must always be busy. Just saying. Anyway, so here we go. From CNN. Gun industry stakeholders sue New York Attorney General over state public nuisance gun law. Now, this is a law. I'm going to walk you through it. Basically, it's a discriminatory law, but check this out. More than a dozen gun industry stakeholders sued the New York State Attorney General, challenging the constitutionality of a state public nuisance law that allows gun manufacturers and distributors to be sued if their products are used in crimes by third party. Now, this is incredibly important because this is a workaround, a 100% workaround from federal law, something called the PLCAA. Now, this is important. It's about to go into it, but that's what this is. The left for the past 10 years has been doing these workarounds like, oh, we're not infringing upon your constitutional right. You just can't carry the bullets that would enable the constitutional right. It's all backdoor. The New York Supreme Court case is backdoor gun control. All of these things that they're getting called on the carpet for, that's why they're freaking out, because their backdoor stuff is not working, because if they go through the front door, they're getting stuffed. All right? So let's keep it going. Check this out. The legislation, which was signed into law in July, made New York the first state to clear the way for gun manufacturers, distributors, and dealers to face civil lawsuits for how they market and sell firearms. Now, we covered that back in July. But now look what's happening because the gun companies are fighting back, and this is why it will ultimately fail. The law was a workaround for the 2005 Protection of Lawful Commerce and Arms Act. That's the PLCAA. We've talked about it a lot. A federal law that granted immunity to firearms manufacturers and dealers when crimes were committed with their products. Now, this is a federal level law. New York State can't come in and say, oh, that doesn't matter because we're in the state boundaries. It doesn't work that way. And the gun companies would not sue under this grounds if they didn't think that it was going to work. But that's why this is important and why I'm bringing it to you, so you're in the know. The lawsuit names New York Attorney General Leticia James as a defendant, and several gun manufacturers, Beretta, Glock, 6 Hour, Smith & Wesson, Sturm & Ruger & Company, are part of the group that filed lawsuit on Thursday. Now, just a small note, do you think all those companies, with their clout and their dollars and their emphasis and influence, would aim irrationally? No, they would not. The suit claims that James, quote, expressly acknowledged that the law was enacted as the New York legislature's attempt to override the federal statutory scheme, that's the PLCAA, and that the state law violates the Constitution and seeks to, quote, replace the will of Congress and impede lawful commerce outside of New York's borders. Now, that is true. That is exactly what they're doing. But listen to what she said here in response. This is key. Apply this to any leftist ideal, not Democrat, leftist. Very important distinction. Check this out, because there's a lot of Democrats who are gun owners. James responded by saying she will, quote, aggressively defend this law and won't back down. Well, you'll back down when it's ruled unconstitutional. Once again, the gun lobby is trying to exert total control over this country and thwart common sense efforts to protect lives, James said in a statement right there, that last piece. They're not trying to thwart common sense practices that save lives. They're trying to thwart unconstitutional laws because there are laws, there are constraints on the legislature by the judicial system. This checks and balances situation is working out pretty well. But that's why they're getting sued. But here, this important little piece here. It's not, notice she is the chief law enforcement officer in New York. She didn't say it's perfectly constitutional. There's nothing wrong going on here. We followed the book. No, she's saying, well, you're just trying to get rid of common sense laws to get rid of the laws. And that's what I've got for you. Let me know what you guys think in the comments field below, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.